Welcome to How to Drop Your Friends, the cycling podcast where you call in and we answer your questions. Not because I'm qualified, but because they are. That's where the guest sits. This week, our guest is none other than Mike Simpson. He's a cinematographer who works here in LA and all over the world. He's worked on commercials, on movies. He got into South by Southwest when he was basically just a kid. But you already know his work because he consulted Chris Miller and the Nero Show on their lighting. We get into it in this episode, and he also critiques my own lighting. He's also a specialized ambassador and hosts the Hot Dog Ride, one of LA's hottest new group rides. During this episode, listeners called in and asked Mike what his worst bike ride ever was. I learned that I had accidentally saved somebody's life, and Mike decides once and for all, SRAM or Shimano, which is better. There's a twist at the very end of the episode that I was not anticipating. Well, Mike, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
For the listeners, Mike moved a flight to tomorrow to be on this podcast. So the pressure's on and the dogs are barking. So we're off to a good start.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what's your earliest memory on the bike?
Funny, actually, I learned to ride a bike when I was, I think, 19.
Really?
Yeah, I remember trying to ride a bike when I was a kid, and my stepfather pushed me down a hill and I crashed, and I just never had any interest. And then I actually kind of got into the fixed gear scene maybe I don't know exactly what year that would have been, but probably the mid 2000s. And I just rode fixed gears for years, moved to New York, and I kind of got into the road bike scene when I moved to New York. So that was probably 2010.
Wow. Where were you were doing fixed gears in Austin?
Yeah.
That's a tough place to do fixed gear. You would think you would have done road bikes in Austin and fixed gear in New York.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I also think New York is not that great for cycling in general for riding road bikes. So it's weird that I fell into that. But.
Was it you would commute out of the city to ride road in New York? Or?
So New York is very, there's three things people do. There's Central Park, you do laps. There's Prospect Park, you do laps. Or you can basically, if you live in Brooklyn, for example, you ride about 15 miles and you cross the George Washington Bridge. Mm-hmm. And then there's access to good riding, once you get to Jersey. Okay. And you can kind of go up or around, or you can take the train deep out of the city. But yeah, every time you want to do a ride that's interesting, it's a lot of work and a lot of effort and time. So, yeah. But I will say, it's easy to fall into this LA, New York thing. LA, the recreational cycling is incredible, and the commuting is terrible. And New York is the opposite. The commuting is amazing on a bike, and riding for fun is terrible.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I commuted from the Upper West Side down to Chinatown for a little while on bike, and it was nice. Right through Central Park. I'd cut down, I don't know what it was, 8th, and then cut across on 14th or something like that. Yeah. And it's fun. Here, for 3 months when I got here, beginning of 2020, I worked down in Mar Vista at 72 and Sunny, this post house, and I commuted on bike, and that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just horrible.
I just did a job this week, and I live basically maybe 10 minutes bike ride or drive from downtown, and I was I'm just going to drive.
Yeah. How funny. It's so crazy. But you're right, the recreational riding is amazing here. I'm always trying to tell people about it. Where's your favorite place to ride in LA?
It's got to be Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
If that counts as LA, it's just everything is incredible. There's amazing descents, amazing climbs. It's almost and the nicest thing is that they're not super massive, so you can string a lot of different things together. So because in LA we have these big mountains, but if you want to ride up to 2, you're gonna be on the same road for 2 or 3 hours. In Malibu, you can string together. There's maybe 10 really great climbs, and you can pick and choose them, so you can get a lot of variety.
Yeah, but then you're stuck in the same problem of commuting all the way over because we're here on the east of
True.
LA, and
I'm kind of lucky. I have an electric car, so I have one of those tags that let you go in the HOV lane.
Oh, nice.
And so I actually go to the north part of Malibu, and so I can get from my house to a start point in about 30 minutes, maybe less.
Really?
Yeah, so like one of the big, I mean, to get in the weeds with Malibu, if you go all the way to the PCH, like which is on the south, kind of the water side of Malibu, that takes forever. But if you go on the other side of the mountains, it's actually much faster to get there.
I usually just go to like Peddler's Fork in Calabasas. Where's your start point?
Yeah, pretty close to Peddler's Fork.
Okay.
Yeah, I just go in a little bit more, but yeah,
nice.
that's I feel like that changes a lot.
Yeah.
So.
It's really nice over there. What about over here? Do you like the two? It's divisive riding the two. I find some people in LA really love it, and other people, it's too busy for them.
Yeah, I think that there's certain elements to riding in LA that are like, there's good and bad like times. So like what I've realized with the two is if it's on a weekday and you're going up the two, it's basically empty. There's a lot of cars coming down it, but you very rarely you'll have to deal with cars passing you. On the weekend, it's like not quite as busy overall, but then you have to contend with like people having fun on their like motorcycles and crazy cars. So to me, that can be almost worse. So yeah. I actually enjoy riding up the two like in the morning on a weekday, but I don't actually really like it on the weekends, if that makes sense. But there are like side roads, like I do Big T, which is kind of an offshoot of that. I think that's much, for whatever reason, not as popular on the weekends for cars. So yeah, I feel like the longer I'm here, the more I realize when to ride things and, you know, what streets to avoid and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good advice. The when to ride things makes a lot of sense. It's always funny, though, because I'll ride in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, and the road still is like filled with other cyclists.
Yeah.
And it's like, do we all not have like a normal 9-to-5 job? I guess that's LA as well.
Yeah, I was just meeting a friend for coffee and it was like 10 in the morning and there was traffic and I'm like, where are these people going?
Yeah, and then the coffee shop's full.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like they're all going to coffee meetings.
Yeah. I'm worried if I jump into this too soon that there's going to be a lot of questions on the phone line already, but it makes sense now. So you're a cinematographer, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
How did you get into that, and how has it influenced your Strava posts?
Yeah, so the really short version is I got into like college studying philosophy, but I kind of made some films in high school for fun, and I took some film classes in college thinking it would be fun. I made a film. It got into South by Southwest, which is like a big festival. It was just like a fun little horror film, but for whatever reason, people loved it. And it kind of gave me enough confidence to apply to film school, got into film school, and then I quickly realized that I didn't really want to direct, but I liked sort of the more technical side of things, so I fell into being a cinematographer. It's sort of, for me, the perfect balance of creative and technical. And yeah, I just have, ever since school, I've been doing that. So I lived in Austin for a long time, then I moved to New York, and then I moved to LA.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The full like filmmaker arc. Or I guess that's a very indie filmmaker arc. Austin to New York to LA.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, so you made a horror film in high school and got into South by Southwest?
I made it my first year of college. I made
basically still high school. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What was the premise?
So it was actually a 48-hour film festival thing that Robert Rodriguez was doing because he's like a Texas filmmaker. And it was the first year that they'd done it. And also at this point, the Alamo Drafthouse was like a pretty new kind of more indie thing. So they were kind of sponsoring it too. So we ended up winning that. It's basically about a woman who is a cannibal and she like kills someone and eats them. It's like very simple, but it's very like campy and gory, kind of like in the style of like The Fly. Okay. You know, there's a lot of like just like body horror-y kind of stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Did any of your actors go on to become the new Jeff Goldblum?
No, I wish. I mean, every actor in it like was also sort of a filmmaker. So I think the lead actress Marlo is like an editor now.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's awesome. Yeah. That's funny. It's those early films. Yeah. Everybody wants to be a filmmaker and going through that. I had a similar trajectory with a lot less success. Like making films in high school. I thought I wanted to be a director, and then long story short, now I'm making YouTube videos. So it's kind of funny, but I see your stuff and then I'm like, oh man, that's real like cinematography, real work. Like we talk sometimes on rides, and you're talking like last time we went for a ride, you were talking about the new like RE camera and all of the gear, and it's such a cool world. Do you find yourself applying a lot of those like lessons that you learned as a cinematographer for work for, because you've done some work for some cycling brands, right?
Yeah, so
that was a really, really bad question, by the way. So if you're starting your own podcast, don't ask a question like that.
Yeah, let me try to take some parts out of that.
Please fix my question.
So for me, with cycling and the stuff that I do riding, it's kind of, in a way, very different from what I do professionally, because I do films and it's motion, and like some cycling brands have actually tried to get me to shoot video. And for me, that's like wrapping my head around, because like, you know, if you do like a car commercial, the tools you have access to are so much like more complicated, and they can do so much more than what I can do with like by myself on a bike. So like, I don't really love the idea of trying to recreate that side of my work. But the thing I don't really get to do professionally is do stuff like basically fully on my own. And I think with photography, you can do that. So I push much more into the photo world when I do cycling stuff, because I can, you know, it's just like fully by myself. I'm just taking the photo and then, you know, potentially editing it, which we can talk about that a bit more at some point too. But yeah, so for me, like, I think I developed a lot of skill just visually, because I also have made a lot of documentaries, and there's so much just reaction involved in documentary filmmaking that will apply to any sort of photography as well. So, you know, I'm always sort of thinking about that element of it when I'm shooting or thinking about taking a photo or whatever. But yeah, for me, it's like that's more interesting to me than trying to make films on the bike.
Yeah. Focusing on the photography. And
yeah.
Do you have a favorite place that you photographed on the bike?
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably Taiwan. At least it's the freshest in my memory. I feel like every time, like when I go on a bike trip, like I do a lot of bike trips, and I always want to go somewhere beautiful. So like they're always hopefully going to be some good photos. But yeah, Taiwan was just incredible, because it's there's so much variety there. You know, there's like a climb that is relatively famous called the Taiwan KOM, but you know, you start in almost like a jungle and you end up at 14,000 feet, and it's like misty and rainy and cold, and like it could snow. And so you just have this crazy variety, like just in one day. And, you know, it's a very unique looking place. Like the gorge is just, I've never seen anything like it. So it's helpful to be in a place where you have never been before, and that's so unique or so beautiful. LA is very beautiful, but it's hard to go ride GMR for like the 20th time and still take photos that aren't the photo I've taken 10 times. So yeah, that's probably the challenge with, you know, shooting in LA. That's
true. Finding like a unique angle or just being excited about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you ride the same route. I have the problem of, and we've talked about this before, but all my routes are very vanilla. I go up all kind of like, there's the classic like mini climbs around where we live, and I just repeat those over and over and over again, and then it gets stale. You're really good at finding like new routes and keeping things fresh. You just started hosting this new ride, the hot dog ride, which is a group ride after my own heart, because it's a bunch of steep hills stitched together. Halfway through the ride, you're wondering why you did that. How did you get into like planning routes, and then how did you decide to start this hot dog ride?
Well, I will say there's like a part of me that like I get some joy seeing people being like, what is this? Like, where did this climb come from? Where are we? So a big part of this ride was like, I think LA has a lot of great group rides, but a lot of the rides are you do this climb that you've done every week. And I think it's cool because you can challenge yourself and you can challenge your old time and you can see the same people. But we kind of wanted to just have another option for a ride. So the idea with this ride is that it's steep climbs. It's always a new route. And my goal is that you've never ridden at least parts of it. So I try to make it because I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that just no one knows about. And there's a lot of fun climbs and a lot of like fun, windy descents. And yeah, so the idea was just to like show people way more of the neighborhood, basically for people like you who like, you could ride all this stuff. You'd probably just don't know about it. But, you know, maybe the climb that we did last week, you will do it again.
I don't know. That was like 25% for like 7 minutes.
Yeah, you know.
That was pretty horrible. And then you're like, oh, once you see the basketball like court at the top, that's not the top.
Yeah,
Then you turn and keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But that was fun. Yeah, it's fun to kind of see all these little routes. It's interesting, like the neighborhoods over here. It's like the old Hollywood, right? And so there are all these like old houses, these windy, tight roads. It doesn't feel like America to me when I'm riding around here. It feels a lot more like you're going through these like little Italian hills.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like these, and except it's all like, you know, early 1900s America architecture and the crumbling roads of LA. But
yeah, you know.
they wind. You get a lot of elevation, and it's a lot of fun. Let's jump right into the calls.
So we're going to hear them.
We're going to hear them. The way this works, you send in your questions, leave a voicemail. We're going to listen to the questions, and then we're going to call you back and give you the answer you're looking for. You ready, Mike?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hi, Mitch. Longtime fan, longtime follower. I have a question for Mike. Is SRAM or Shimano better? And, you know, don't hold back. I want a real opinion about SRAM versus Shimano. All right, guys. Keep up the good work. Thanks.
Oh, boy. All right, here we go. SRAM versus Shimano.
Oh, man.
Tale as old as time. What are you on right now?
SRAM.
Okay, I am as well. Yeah. Have you ridden Shimano before?
Yeah, I just took it off my bike.
Hello.
Oh, hello. You called in asking what's better, SRAM versus Shimano. You're on the How to Drop Your Friends podcast, and Mike is going to give you his answer right now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. Yeah. SRAM's better.
Wow. Okay, elaborate.
Well, yeah.
Road specifically. Road.
Oh, road.
Mostly road.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then, yeah, SRAM's better. It looks cooler. It's lighter. It's cheaper. It's newer. Like, they've put out a newer version more recently. They have 13 speed.
The new gravel group set. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, did they?
The chain doesn't wobble as much.
Wait, we forgot to ask. So, are you on SRAM or Shimano?
Is this paid for by SRAM?
I know that's so we gotta. What's your current setup?
Me, I'm on Shimano.
You're on Shimano. Okay. Electronic or mechanical?
Electronic.
Okay. What do you think of? See, you're outnumbered right now because I'm also on SRAM. I have the new red, but I do have a bike that I'm looking at right now that has Ultegra on it. What's your opinion?
I mean, I guess that settles it.
That's the easiest debate ever. What do you not like your Shimano?
I think it's just an ongoing feud forever, and so I just wanted to settle it right here and now, and it looks like SRAM is it, so we can stop talking about it.
Yeah, Judge Mike just laid down the hammer.
Here's what I think it's always going to be. SRAM just came out with their new version. It's now the best. Uh-huh. Now Shimano is going to come out with something better, and then that will be the best. And then it will just go on forever, and everything will just keep getting better.
Do you think it's it's inevitable that they'll just always be going back and forth, or will somebody eventually like KO the other?
I think that, I don't know, actually, it's a great question, but
like SRAM is definitely seems to be in a little bit stronger footing right now, especially with gravel. And since gravel is becoming such a big thing, like Shimano came out with the new GRX. It was 2x. There's not a 1x option. I thought that was really weird. I love my Shimano. I get it. Like everybody talks about how smooth it shifts. It does shift smooth. The SRAM shifting is not substantially less smooth. Like even that sentence makes it sound worse than it actually is. Yeah. It's like I don't really notice it when I'm riding. I'm not a world tour rider. I'm not a pro rider. I'm just a YouTuber. But for my riding around, it works absolutely fine.
It's kind of nice to feel the shift a little.
Okay.
You know?
Wow. The bug is a feature.
It's not like you lose tension or something. I don't know. It's never bothered me. But
all right.
Yeah.
Well, caller, thank you so much for calling in. How do you feel about the answer we gave you?
I mean, I guess it's going to be hard to spend $4,000 on the new SRAM, but I have to do what I have.
You have to do what you have to do. I'm glad you've come to this realization. I'm glad we could help you. If you have a spouse or a partner, please tell them sorry from me. Thanks for calling in. All right. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. Bye. All right. I was surprised you came out so like you're just like SRAM is it.
Yeah, I guess I have GRX on my gravel bike, or I had. I just took it off. It was just, I don't know. It's kind of what you're talking about. Like, I wanted one by, it's also only 11 speed, which it's like the old GRX. It just feels like it's a little bit behind. Like, even, I just put one by SRAM, and I'm like, should I have done the 13 speed? I only did 12, you know? So, yeah, I don't know.
I know that new 13 speed. I thought about putting that on my road bike for a while.
Yeah,
I think you told me don't do it.
Fun.
But it's really, really tempting. I was like one by on my road bike all summer. The gear setup was a little bit of an abomination. I had a mountain bike cassette in the back, so I had that is another nice thing about SRAM.
It's like a 52 or something.
Yeah, I had like the road levers on it, but then I had the mountain bike Eagle transmission on it, and it all works together.
Yeah, it's fun. You can just make whatever.
The only problem is you have to endure insults from all of the like purist road cyclists anytime you're on the road, and
but did you jump on the derailleur like they?
Oh, that's what you have to do, But after I broke the second frame, I was like, I should stop doing this. All right, let's go to the next one.
Hey, this is Jonathan. This is a question for Mike. Mike, what was your worst experience riding a bike, and how did you overcome it?
Oh, Jonathan coming in. I love that when I post the phone number for this, I'm like, today's guest is this and this is this. I deliberately don't say the guest's name, but every single guest, it's like, I know people that know them have called in because they're like, this is a question for Mike. It's great. We're on home turf.
Hey, this is...
Let's go. I should just announce who the guest is. There's no point. The mystery is, it never works anyway.
I didn't know there was mystery.
It's maybe fine, but I also tagged you in the post, so there's no
Yeah, exactly.
I was half-baked idea.
Yeah.
It's an evolving idea.
Yeah. Which is
Hello?
Hi, is this Jonathan?
Yes.
Hey, Jonathan, this is Mitch. You're on the How to Drop Your Friends podcast. You asked Mike all about I'm really interested in this question. You asked Mike for the worst experience he's had on the bike.
Mike is a beast, and I don't think he's ever had a bad day on the bike. So I'm curious to know what he has to say about that.
Well, I have a question. So is it like a moment or is it like a whole experience? Because like I have a pretty bad crash. It's hard to top that.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of those things where there's parts of it that I don't remember that well, and then there's very vivid parts. But I was descending GMR, and I was making a turn, and I don't know what happened, but I just couldn't complete the turn and stay on the road. So I basically came off the road, and I was in the gravel, and like maybe 5 feet of shoulder, and then it was like down the cliff. So I'm just like, like thinking, at first you hit like the dirt like that, you're like, I'm going down for sure. Yeah. But there was a moment where I was like, actually, I'm still up. Like, I think I'm going to be okay. And then I hit a vodka bottle and it explodes under me and I just go flying. I don't really remember exactly how I ended up back on the road, but I ended up going over my bars, rolling. I hit my head, cracked my helmet in half. Then I kept rolling and then I was running and then I was standing in the middle of the road. And like that whole sequence was so vivid to me, but I just remember like moving my hands and moving my arms and like, is anything broken? Like my helmet's like kind of cracked, like coming down my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess like my wrist hurts a little bit, but other than that, I was fine. I basically had no road rash. My bike was a little bit, but I was able to kind of like very lightly roll it back down to the bottom of the hill. But
you crashed. You snapped your helmet in half. Do you get a concussion?
I probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably a concussion. No road rash. You
kind
rode
of a
home
funky
after
wrist.
that?
Yeah, I rode back to my car.
Funky wrist. Okay. Well, I'm trying to put my case together here. I think Jonathan's right. You've never had a bad day. If that's your worst crash, you miraculously survived this thing. I mean, the concussion, that's bad. And
I had to buy a new helmet.
You had to buy a new helmet.
My tires were fine. I had to change my
You're
flat.
like teetering on the edge of a mountain.
Yeah.
Because for people that don't know, like, tell them about descending GMR.
Yeah, it's very technical. It's really fast. You
Yeah.
probably average like 30, 35 miles an hour. And
things can go really wrong really fast.
It's like a 45-minute descent. So I'm thinking I just kind of, you're like in the zone, and then a little bit past that is you're just kind of oblivious and you're kind of like daydreaming. I think I must have just gotten a little too far into daydreaming and like stopped really being
Mike,
engaged.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, okay.
So, for people who are just starting cycling or getting into cycling, crashing is definitely one of our worst nightmares. And descending GMR, being in an area without cell phone service, what are your plans for like a situation like that? Like if it was to go really bad, like who's your emergency contact? How do you get a hold of people? Like what is your plan of attack?
Is Mike's wife behind you right now?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, another thing about me is I do ride alone a lot, and I ride in the mountains a lot. And, I do a lot of these 5-8 hour rides. And yeah, I mean, that's something my wife and I have talked about a lot. And it's hard to actually have like a really good plan if something goes really wrong. You kind of have to just like, that's kind of why I never really ride like gravel alone for that reason. Like there's some sort of, in my mind, safety net of being by the road at least. I was going to buy they make those like sort of satellite phone things. I was going to start using that, but actually it's kind of cool. The iPhone now can use satellites.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, which iPhone do you have?
Yeah. So that's been a nice peace of mind for me. And
can you
also,
explain that to the listeners? Because many of them probably have this phone already. They didn't know they could use it.
Yeah, so basically the new iPhone will allow you to make phone calls using satellite. So if you are in a place with no service, you can actually make emergency calls. And
so tell your spouse or loved one that next time they're working.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually really amazing.
It's really serious, actually. I'm just,
And then on a less dangerous level, when I do these rides, like long rides alone, I think it's good to bring extra redundancy. So like I'll usually, even though I'm tubeless, I'll bring like 2 tubes and I'll, just make sure I have enough things just in case a little bit more goes wrong. But
did you ever put like a space blanket in your saddlebag? Have you heard of this?
No, but
Dave Osborne and I rode up to Wilson last year around this time of year, like early December. And it was a nice day down here, like mid 60s. I wore short sleeves. We rode up to Wilson, and up at the top of Wilson, it was like near freezing.
Yeah.
And Dave's fingers turned purple on the descent, and we were so worried. And then we were talking to some people afterwards. I got chastised by a writer in the group, and he's like, "You got to bring an emergency blanket when you go up there. Like that was so stupid what you did." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think about it."
I feel like that doesn't.
Yeah, that actually saved my life.
Really?
My life on Gibraltar. And I actually learned that from you, Mitch. I think you learned it from somebody else.
But you had a blanket?
And this just barely happened?
Yeah.
Where do you put the blanket?
What?
In your like pouch or in your pocket.
Wow. Well, I'm flabbergasted.
There you go. You
Something
saved
I
someone's
said
life.
actually helped somebody. It didn't come from me originally, but well, I'm glad that it saved your life. When did you go to Gibraltar?
I went September, like end of September, and it was really cold and got to the top and it was super foggy. and I didn't have a jacket because it was different temperature down closer to the coast. But when I got to the top, I was like, I don't have lights, I don't have a blanket, I don't have a jacket, but I do have a space blanket. And so I pulled it out, wrapped it around my chest, and I was actually able to descend safely. But
well, you
I got to the
rode with
bottom. I was like,
wow, that's crazy.
yeah, you just kind of tuck it underneath your jersey, and it keeps you warm.
You know, I've heard of people doing that with like trash bags, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just stuff a trash bag to basically block wind.
Yeah. Didn't they used to use like newspapers in the tour, like a long time, like in the early days
That
back
makes
when it was
sense
like a
too,
single
yeah.
speed? Yeah. Space blanket's a lot better, but
I do a lot of riding in New York in the winter. I mean, lately I haven't. Lately, it's not even been that cold in New York. I think it is now, but like the last 2 years haven't been that bad. But what I would bring with me is those little like hand warmers and foot warmers. The ones that have like the weird rocks in them, and you shake them, and then they get hot. Like to me, that seems like it would be better to warm up your hands than a blanket. But I don't know. Does the space blanket really do that much?
yeah, does it? You noticed a difference?
100%. Yeah, you actually get hot. You start sweating in it, and you're like, I'm going to take this off. And as soon as you take it off, you lose body temperature real fast.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, 'cause, Val, that's my wife. Please stop listening now. I still haven't bought a space blanket to put in my bag. I'm such a hypocrite. I told you to go do it, and I haven't even done it. I'm gonna get one now. Man, that's awesome. Drew, I'm curious, what is your worst experience on the bike? Since Mike is protected by the angels of cycling. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I called you Drew, Jonathan. Jonathan, what's your worst memory on the bike? I am the worst podcast host.
I'll take Drew's FTP.
Yeah, exactly. We had just tried calling him. That's why.
Let's see. My worst experience on the bike. Sheesh. Probably last year, Circle of Doom got to the top of, what is that, Crystal Lake? And Mitch, I think maybe you were there too, or Mike, but the winds picked up to like 40 miles per hour. I had to like get off my bike and start walking, and like the winds were actually picking up my bike, and it was actually really scary. And I really wanted to keep going just to like for the victory, but I ended up turning around just out of like safety and descending back down Crystal Lake. And at a certain point, I was like, I gotta like ask somebody to take me down because it's like getting really cold. I didn't have the space blanket, and I stopped, and there was this guy who was like, you know what you need? You need some cookies. And it pulled out these homemade cookies.
Oh, no.
He was wearing like a QAnon t-shirt, so I was like really worried.
Did you eat the cookies?
Yeah, were they good?
No, he was really forcing them on me though. He was like, I make them myself. They're, they got this or that, beef tallow. I don't know what was in it, but
wow.
Yeah, sometimes you find yourself in situations where you're like alone and have no idea what to do. You feel so vulnerable on the bike, right? Like I think when you leave, you're like, oh, I'm like, I'm so badass. But then you get out there and you're like, holy shit, like I'm very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So
I think like being cold is like, it's just, there's nothing worse, I think, on the bike than being so cold that you're like afraid, and because you can't brake and you can't, you're just like shivering, and
then the whole bike is shaking.
Yeah.
And it's always on a descent because that's when the wind's hitting you, and it's when you need to be in control of the bike. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh man. I'm glad you didn't.
Learn.
I'm glad you still were like clear enough of mind not to eat that guy's cookies. Although it would have made for a very interesting story. That was probably wise. I remember that ride. That wind was horrible. I think most of the group turned around. Yeah. I was there. The only reason why I kept going is because I was there. I had brought EJ trains out, and I wanted to turn around. And he's like, no, let's keep going, because he's like way tougher than me. But I would have been right there with you, just sending back down, because it was blowing us. EJ's like a pretty big dude on the bike, and I was just trying to like sit in his draft or like to the side of him so the wind wouldn't hit, and he kept getting like pushed, like his bike was skidding across the ground. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, were you there?
No, I wasn't there. I heard about it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds brutal.
It was brutal.
But I feel like at that point, I don't know which way I would rather go, because down Crystal Lake, it's so steep, and it might be nicer just to go down the 2. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that was quite a day. Well, Jonathan, thanks for calling in. Before you go, I'm curious, because we've kind of been talking a lot about LA and LA cycling. Where's your favorite place to ride in LA?
Ooh, in LA, does Malibu count, or is that Malibu County?
It does count, but that was Mike's answer and every other cyclist. So let's expose people to other parts of Los Angeles.
Okay. Honestly, like my everyday route is Griffith Park. I feel like it kind of connects us to everywhere in Los Angeles, whether it's Pasadena, Elysian, Frogtown, Atwater. It's just like one of those quick and easy ways to just grab a bunch of elevation in a short amount of time. But also, it's like, it's a verified segment. So if you want to go, see how you rank up against the pros and some people way stronger than you, like it's a good way to like test your fitness. But really good views. Really
good views.
Cool views
that whole climb is great. It's closed to cars, and it's so fun. And now that they're repaving it, your segment times can only become faster. So I heard a rumor that they were thinking about including that as part of the road course in the Olympics for 2028. No, so then all of our segment times are just going to get knocked down even further. But it would be really, really cool to see them ride through Griffith.
Whatever it takes to get Phil Guyman off the leaderboard. I'm fine with it.
Luke's giving him a run for his money. For the listeners, this is what's it called? Is it Griffith Park bottom of the top, or is it now Mount Hollywood?
I think it's Mount
Hollywood Drive. Yeah. This segment is a hotly contested segment in Griffith Park. It's the main climb. You ride up Mount Hollywood Drive. At the top, you end up like looking down over the observatory. And what's Phil's time right now? Like 12 and a half minutes or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. What's your best time, Mike?
Right around 14. I've been trying to crack 14 minutes. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm at 14:02 right now. It's really frustrating. But Luke, I think he's inside of 12 minutes now.
Yeah.
So it's getting pretty close. But then Phil will just have to go back out and take it back, I guess.
Right.
Until Tade comes and raises Jonas up in 2028.
Every time I'm climbing Baldy, I see Tade's time on my head unit.
Ugh. That was the race that like put him on the map, right?
Yeah.
Tour of California.
Yeah.
Did you see that one, Jonathan?
I did. Yeah, I actually just did ski lifts for the first time. Baldy Lodge to ski lifts, and I thought I was hammering, going really hard, and then I saw that Tade was the KOM, and my time was, or my average pace was 3 miles per hour. His was 12. So.
Oh man, that's crazy. He did 12 miles an hour up there because it's like near 10% for that last like.
No, it's more than that.
It's more than 10%.
It's like 18%.
It's horrible.
It's really tough.
Yeah, and it's at the top of the climb, and that climb is so long, and
Yeah, it's like 4 miles of double digits.
Yeah.
And it's rough.
That's where you discover your true max heart rate.
I think so, yeah.
That spot. That's the test. Oh, man. Well, thanks for calling in, Jonathan. Great question. Great talking with you. I'm sorry I called you Drew. We tried calling him right before you. I'm going to forever be embarrassed. But I really appreciate it, man. Talk to you soon. See ya.
Guys.
Yeah,
right.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, man. I got to like write down names and right before the call. I get all discombobulated. Mount Baldy. Man, the ski lift's 18%. I didn't know it gets up to that. I guess at that point, I'm like so deep in the like pain cave at that point. I'm not even, it's just like, I just got to get to the top and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you do like, every time I do it, I'm like, I don't ever need to do this again.
Yeah.
It's like, somehow it's, like, I like that kind of stuff usually, but somehow I just don't enjoy it.
I haven't touched it this year.
Yeah.
That Circle of Doom ride that we did, which is not Baldy for the listeners, but it's right next to it, or it starts next to it. That one, I haven't been over there since that ride because that experience just like scarred me so much. The riding is really good over there, but it is like you kind of, it's about as far as getting to Malibu. So it's like, I'm just going to go to Malibu instead.
I think GMR is one of my favorite descents, even though I crashed on it. Like I still, like, yeah, I love flying down that thing. And then,
have you done Chantry?
Yeah, I just did it recently. Yeah.
Was that your first time doing it?
Yeah.
Or how you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I also flew down that. I don't know, whatever it is, the last like few weeks I've been feeling really good on the bike. So like descending, I don't know. But the last time I did Crystal Lake actually was with some friends. We did this like crazy 200-mile day, and we basically went all the way out to Lake Arrowhead, which is like 80 miles of flat riding, and then the rest of the 200 miles was all climbing. It ended up being like 20,000 feet.
Oh, that's a big day.
Yeah, it was like we did the longest day of the summer just to like have the maximum time, but we still didn't make it before dark, so we descended Crystal Lake in the dark.
Oh, and did you have lights?
I didn't have lights.
No, I could tell by the way you hesitated.
It was actually a very surreal, kind of beautiful experience, and very visual because the person behind me had a light, and so it was illuminating everything in front of me, but in the center of my vision was my own shadow, and it would get projected onto the like rock walls as I'm making turns. So it was like very hard to judge distance.
Yeah.
But it also is just like, it doesn't look like real. It just, everything looks so crazy, and you can't really tell where you are or like where the turns are going to be. And like with your shadow, you kind of are like over analyzing. You're like, oh, my pedal is like, is that one leg moving? You know, you're just kind of like mesmerized by how weird it looks.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure as a cinematographer too, in your understanding of light, you were able to process kind of like what's going on and why things are looking that way. But maybe that makes it even more disorienting. Were you trying to figure out how to recreate that as like a shot or something in that moment as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of like my job is being inspired by things I see in real life, and for me that was a very sort of magical moment. Like, it really didn't feel as scary as it should have been. It just was like, I was also freezing cold because it was the middle of the summer, but of course by the time it's dark, it's like 40 degrees. So yeah, it was just, in film when you're shooting scenes that are like driving scenes, like there's always the challenge of like figuring out how to motivate the light. And like the easiest thing is like the headlights, but generally you want to have additional light just to sort of show the environment, to help either show speed or to just give a sense of like where you are. And this was like the barest bones version of that. You couldn't see anything except for like 20 feet ahead of you and your own shadow, and everything's one color because it's just like a white light and there's no other light. So it almost felt like being in a dream. There was one point where we were sort of bombing like the steep part of the descent. We were going like, I think probably way faster than we should have been going. But at one point there's like a rattlesnake crossing the road that we both kind of like split around, and I was just like, this is so weird and like, dreamy.
Wow. What a crazy like cinematic descent.
Yeah, it was like probably the most beautiful experience I had on the bike last year, even though I hope Tina doesn't listen to this.
Oh man. Well, speaking of light, if I can, while you're here, can I get your feedback on the lighting setup for this podcast? Because I'll try to describe it. There is a lantern softbox up above us with a space blanket, basically, around it, draped only partially, because if it goes too low, it'll block our faces. But I wanted to stop the light from hitting the walls behind us to separate us a little bit. But I'm not sure about the angle. My bags under my eyes are out of control. Yeah. Val is like, you got to do something about those bags. Ask Mike how to fix it. So here I am asking you, what's your advice on this setup?
Well, the short version is there's the close side and the far side of the camera.
Okay.
So the side of your body that the camera is on is like the close side. And so like, since the camera is here, this is the close side and this is the far side. You generally want to light from the far side. It's almost always going to be more flattering. Like, there are reasons.
So the light should be over there?
Yeah, so the light being on this side will already be more flattering.
But wouldn't this side near the camera be in shadow then? Or you just need a second light?
That's a good thing. It can be a more dramatic look, which can be good or bad. But that's a good starting point. It's called like a far side key. It would be like a kind of an easy
I like
way to
it.
remember
I love terms.
Yeah.
I love to be a nerd. Yeah.
So, and then the other advantage of putting it over here with this, the space blanket, we would call that a skirt.
Okay.
So the skirt would just get all the light off this wall. So this would just be as dark as you want it to be because the light would be pointing the other way. So that's step one.
Okay.
Step two is you want to be able to like see the light. Like think of when you're the subject, you want to be able to like see the light pretty well with both eyes. Like that'll mean that you're probably getting the light into your eyes. It's like, so I kind of like just close both eyes, but
you can close both eyes.
Well, you just close one then the other.
I have to use my
hand.
hand.
I can, but
that's why you're a cinematographer. That was the skill.
I do use the viewfinder.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, and then once this light is set, you can raise or lower it. You would probably lower it as much as you can without being in your frame, because the lower it is, the more it's going to get into the eyes.
Okay.
And then if this side feels too dark, that's when you would add another light or a bounce or something like that. Like maybe it's advantageous that all these walls are relatively white because it might bounce some more light back.
Okay.
Like this being black is actually darkening the shadows on this side.
It's making it worse. Yeah.
Not necessarily worse, but you know, it's just what you're like look you're going after.
Gotcha. So then to keep that all out of the shot, is there a way I could do it with the C-stand? I guess I could hide some of it behind that, and you would have the boom go above and just drop the light here. Would it be pointing out or just like overhead?
I think if you slightly pointed it away from the wall, it would just keep the light off the wall. Yeah. But this light's not really directional. So if you feel the light, it's hitting you.
Like I can block off one side with the skirt and make it more directional,
but I guess it's like whatever part is exposed is going to illuminate out, evenly. So it doesn't matter which way it's pointing, actually. Okay. It just matters which part is like visible.
Yeah.
And then another little thing that we do in films a lot is like do eye lights, which like if you see little reflections in people's eyes, it tends to just make them look more alive. So that's just a matter. Usually people put them like right next to the lens, or you can kind of think of it like playing pool.
Yeah.
Like you'll bounce from the lens to the eye.
Oh, okay.
So like light, eye, lens, you know, that kind of thing.
And you'll just put like a little spotlight next to the lens kind of shooting out?
Yeah, and it really doesn't need to be bright. It's really more of a reflection in the eyes. Like you can dial it up or down just to like sort of what looks good to you.
Yeah, you don't want to dial it in so much that like it's blinding the actor.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's just nice to see a little kind of highlight in the eyes.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm looking at your eyes right now and I don't see anything.
Yeah,
so
I have
that
to
would
be like this to like get the.
But you can see it once I get it in my eyes. It looks, you
just
know.
be like this for the podcast.
Yeah, you gotta. Well, if you raise all the cameras and look up at them,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
all right, I'm gonna have to figure out how I can like rearrange things. It's such a small room. It's kind of like.
You could probably put the C-stand here.
Okay.
And then just arm out.
But then I can't get that shot.
Yeah,
That's
I guess maybe it'd have
or
to be closer.
Yeah. I'll have to figure it out. I guess I could just
go in that corner. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
This is a rental apartment, so I'm just gonna drill holes into all the walls, put up some rigging. It's gonna be a full. Yeah. I'll figure it out though. Okay.
Well, they do make something called a wall spreader, which would just kind of go from wall to wall.
Maybe that's what I need.
Or you could decorate the C-stand if you put it right there in a way that doesn't look like a C-stand.
What would be a bike-themed decoration for a C-stand? For the viewers and the listeners, because you can't really see anything that we're talking about. The C-stand is just like a heavy-duty light stand. The one I have is black, just a black pole. What would you put on? I guess I could put stickers from all my sponsors on it.
If you put the C-stand and then you put the bike in front of it and you line it up so it just looks like a bike is hanging,
is that what Chris at the Nero show does? Because they have those two bikes in the background.
You know, you
consulted them on their lighting, right?
I messaged Chris about it because he was like asking for advice, and I was basically saying the same thing, and he was like, "That's too much work." Like, because they have the same setup. They have, I would say, they have a near side key.
Yeah,
and
the far side key is the thing that's gonna.
If you want to look more dramatic and cinematic,
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to figure out. You know, I was thinking I wasn't going to do it before I heard that they didn't do it at the Nero show. And now, if Chris isn't doing it, and Jesse's not doing it, then I've got to do it. It's the only
honestly,
way. They're both so much stronger than me on the bike. This is the only way I can differentiate myself.
I think you could fit it. I think if you put the C-stand there, you might not even notice it. Put it behind the curtain or something, pull the curtain forward.
Yeah, that I can do. I can move the desk a little bit. It'd be nice too, because this light is so big, I have to like duck under it to get all the bikes that are over there. And
yeah,
it's only advantageous. Yeah.
And then for Phil, you could just get 2 more of these little...
Those little, the little
lanterns.
like paper lanterns.
Yeah.
And put them in. All right.
That's your eyelet.
Okay. The next time you watch this show, it's going to look exactly the same. But in a few episodes, it may look really cinematic.
Yeah. You're going to be like, what is this?
Oh, man.
It's a movie.
Well, let's go on to the final segment. I've finally come up with a name for it. Eventually, I want to have a judge's cloak and a gavel, but
Okay.
I don't have those props yet. So you're just going to have to, viewers and listeners, imagine Mike donning the garb of a judge. This is cycling court, and Mike is going to pass judgment on one of the most controversial things in cycling.
Okay.
We've already talked about SRAM versus Shimano,
yeah,
so
let's keep on going.
Here we go. Aero versus lightweight. Which is superior?
Ooh, I feel like it's... So this is just like...
I should say, you are passing judgment for the entire cycling community. As judge, you have the right, the responsibility, the honor to force everybody from this point forward to either ride a lightweight bike or an aero bike. What is your decision? What is your reasoning?
I guess I would... See, I have a bike that's kind of both. But I feel like I would pick for the whole industry, I think I would stick with lightweight. Okay. I think there's no question that aero bikes are better for the pros. But I think the slower you get, the less clear it is. And there's no one really doing that testing or explaining that stuff. So like... If you're riding half the speed of a pro, what is your aero bike doing for you? It might be doing a lot, it might be doing very little, and no one is really testing that stuff. So like, I think there's something very obvious and concrete and that you can really feel like on a lightweight bike. And I think that just feels kind of nice. So that's kind of my reasoning for that. I also personally like climbing and I like feeling good climbing. So the few aero bikes I've ridden don't have that like snap that I want. And I also just don't think I do the style of riding. Like I don't race crits. I don't really ride much flat stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's not really a bike for me either.
It's hard to find any of that here.
Yeah.
And what bike are you riding?
I'm riding a Tarmac SL8, which feels like a really great in the middle bike. Cause I also have ridden the Athos and I'm not as much a fan of that as I am my bike.
What didn't you like about the Athos that you do about the SL8? Because the Athos is a lightweight bike. So your argument here is...
Well, I think the SL8 is a lightweight bike.
It is. It definitely is, yeah.
I think it's really hard to tell the difference in weight between the two bikes when they're built with the same components and wheels and everything.
Yeah.
I think there's an element of snappiness and descending with the SL8 that I didn't feel with the Athos. The way I would describe it is when I was descending with the Athos, it felt good, but it felt like I was like gliding, which is a nice feeling. But when I'm descending with the Tarmac, it feels like I can just turn the bike however I want, as quickly as I want. Like it just feels, like I hate to say it's like more responsive. It's just like it handles in a different way. It just feels more technical, I guess. And also when you get out of the saddle, the Athos just gives a little bit. I don't know.
I've heard that. I've heard that from a lot of people.
And with the way I climb, like in all the steep stuff, I'm like out of the saddle a lot. And like, I feel like the small amount, fewer grams that it has doesn't make up for the fact that it just doesn't feel like it doesn't jump in the same way. So yeah. I don't know. But I think it's so minor. I feel like, I'd take the Athos with my wheels over the Tarmac with some junky wheels. So.
Oh, okay. So the wheels are superior to the frame.
I think that Yeah, I think when there's so small differences between those two bikes that like you have to look at the whole picture to really decide like what is important to you, you know.
Okay, which I'm curious, what part of the bike is the most important part of the bike in your opinion? Like, or better phrase, perhaps. I'm going to phrase it horribly, but hopefully I get the idea across. What part of the bike has the most character that you look for in the bike? Does that make sense?
How about,
yes,
can I
please
go backwards? Because like now that I'm thinking about this, you know what I think the least important thing is the group set.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it really matters. I don't care that much.
I would agree with that. As long as it works. As long as it's functional, which I guess for every part of the bike should be the baseline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think I prefer SRAM, but I like, if you gave me a bike with their race, I probably would be super fine with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the frame, you can tell the difference, and the wheels, you can tell the difference. The tires, you can tell the difference. I think the bars are purely like a comfort thing, but like I kind of care. I guess, you know. Yeah, I feel like the frame and the tires are probably the most important thing, and if I would guess.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We've learned SRAM is better than Shimano, but it doesn't really matter.
It's still the least important thing.
Oh man, thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
What are you up to? What do you got? Anything you want to promote? What should the audience go? Where should they go check you out?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Mike Simpson DOP. I have a lot of my professional work, a lot of my cycling work. Yeah, I'm a Specialized ambassador. I run this ride. It's in LA. It's the last Saturday of every month. It's in East LA. It's very fun. It's pretty hard, but it's not that bad.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You all heard him describe, I forgot what you said, but basically what I took away was you'd like to see people in pain while they're riding. And so if you like to be in pain while you're riding, it is a great ride. You're going to question why you ride the bike while you're halfway through it. But at the end, you get a hot dog, and it can be a meat hot dog, a vegan hot dog. And last time we had prizes.
Yeah, Attacker is a sponsor.
Attacker's a sponsor.
They give us a lot of stuff. Yeah, we have a lot of different prizes.
Yeah.
And
I won a little finger claw that's holding up that picture behind.
Yeah,
right
I'm very
now.
impressed with that.
It's holding it up. I have a whiteboard behind that picture. I'm hiding it so you all can't see my evil master plans. And this claw that I won at Mike's group ride is what allows it to happen. So this background brought to you by Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, love it.
All right. We'll have to have you on again.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This was episode 3 of the podcast. I just want to say thank you to anybody who has left a review, left a comment. It's been really encouraging to get the feedback, and it's been really fun to work on a new project like this podcast and be at the start of something again. So thank you so much. This is available on all the different podcast apps, so like Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't know any other podcast apps, but the service that I use sends it out everywhere. And of course, you can watch it right here on YouTube, my favorite place in the world. I wanted to read a couple comments to you guys as a way to just say thank you, because these comments really warmed my heart. Man, that sounds so cheesy and disingenuous, but I'm serious. Joshua Stewart left this one on the episode with Phil Guyman. He said, I listen to Cade's and Chris Miller's podcasts, and I like them both for different reasons. This podcast offers something different, and I love it. Very chill vibes. So thank you, Joshua. That means a lot to me. There's a lot of cycling podcasts out there, and I'm trying to be very deliberate in finding a little corner that's a little different, that isn't, that just like fits in with everything else, because there's great training podcasts. The Cade Media podcast does a really good job about like a bunch of different cycling news and what's going on. The Nero show, like their banter is incredible, and they've always got like an interesting take and a really strong take, which I love watching. That's probably the podcast I watch the most out of all the cycling podcasts. Well, actually, Lantern Rouge is probably the one that I watch the most. Patrick and Benji, amazing. So, Joshua, thank you for just saying that it so far this podcast kind of carves out a new area that's something I was going for, and seeing somebody else recognize that just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So thank you. Another one, this was from the first podcast with EJ. I really like that podcast format, really organic. Mitch is the reason I started training after 20 years of not riding a bike and living a sedentary lifestyle. I am 49 years old. It's been 5 months since yesterday, actually, of daily training, and I've gone from an FTP of 183 watts on day 1 to about 250 to 260 watts now. That's awesome. This is from Mellow Jello, and I'm going to keep going. You'll understand why I picked this comment. I only wear attacker thanks to Mitch. I put that in there for attacker so they, sign me again next year. As for the trainer, I'm one of those people who actually enjoys it in erg mode. So thank you, Mellow Jello. And I want to end it with a third comment. This one I think really encapsulates everything that this podcast is meant to be. Sigmund Rainer 3483 says, WTF are those videos? Yeah. What are they? My normal videos are going to be coming out soon. I'm almost done with the Scanupia video for the podcast. If you have any feedback, you have any ideas, you have somebody you'd like to see on the podcast, let me know in the comments, or send me a DM on Instagram, or pigeon, like carrier mail. Just let me know. Thanks for watching.